Fantastic weekend, wasn't it, Will?
It was. You know, the mayor came out. He threw me a welcome party and introduced me to a lot of the town council people. But he said it twice. He said it there in that private meeting. Then he came out and welcomed everybody at the venue. But he said something really nice. He said, we're thankful for the pastors here in this community. And I thought that was a real nice touch by the mayor. But we saw, not only that, but we saw hundreds of young people give their life to Christ. And that's the future of Australia. Yeah, that's the future town council there that you're talking about. These young kids that are going to grow up, maybe become great footy players or rugby players or something like that. And they're going to have an influence in other parts of the world too. And so we're just so thankful for what God did in the community.
You never know, they could end up playing for your new favourite team.
That's right, West Coast Eagles. So they could be the next big scorer for the Eagles. We'll have to see if I have to come back and see them again.
Now, on Saturday night, I think it was, you were asked on stage to name a West Coast Eagles player. I need to ask you, Will, hand on heart, honest truth here. Were you primed for that question beforehand, or did you really know?
Actually, I was not primed before that, but I knew what they were going to give me, so I was like, I better come up with somebody I can at least identify with. So Nick Natanui, and he's a believer. I was told about him earlier, that he was a believer. I guess he just did a high tackle or something like that, and he got sanctioned by the organizing body, I don't know, the rule committee or something, sanctioned him or something. I don't know what all the technical words are, but he got in trouble for it, and everybody in the world would say it wasn't a high thing, but he put a Bible verse, and God works all things to his good. And I just said, yeah, that's a good guy. I like to pull for him. So I like to pull for Christians, and he seems to be a neat guy. He's a Fiji boy, I think. He's a boy from Fiji. I was real impressed with him, and boy, he had the mark of the year. I saw that. Someone showed that to me. So there's a lot of good things I like about him.
Yeah. There's a really good example of not being afraid to put our faith out there in the marketplace. Someone else here in Australia in recent times that's been a lot in the news, but that is Israel Folau. He's come up against a lot of opposition, but he's stayed really true and strong to what he believes. What would your encouragement be to Christians that are feeling like they're maybe under the gun a little bit about people saying you can't share your faith, you can't talk about God in a public square?
Well, it's going to be like that anywhere you go. I mean, Satan does not want you to tell others about him. It's going to be more anti-Christian, I think, in the world that we go, whether it's in America or here in Australia. Here we're in Perth. Another lady was Margaret Court. They didn't like her stance on the same-sex marriage, and but she was just believing she was just telling people what she believes, what the Bible teaches her, and her personal convictions, and then she was riled for it, and people are going to be against you no matter what you say, what you believe. Just got to be bold, and just to tell, and do it in a loving way, though. Don't do it in a downcast way or a negative way, but be positive about it. This is what I believe. This is what the Bible teaches, and that's what I believe. That's what the Bible teaches. That's what I believe. I can't help it, but that's what the Bible teaches me. And so, if you do it in a respectful way, I think sometimes people respect you, but listen, you're never guaranteed that. I promise you that. My granddaddy was riled for what he believed in. People, made fun of him. My granddaddy stayed bold. My dad, he just loved it. I got this one bug flying around my face. I don't know, it's this one Perth bug. Sorry, camera. But I got this one bug flying around me. But, you're always going to be riled for it, whatever it is. And just be strong and committed to what you believe in. God will honor you.
Yeah. Just reflect on what happened over the weekend in Kalgoorlie. We saw, I think it was about 550 people come forward, make decisions. Many of those younger people, under 20. How do you feel? You've come here, there's been all this preparation. You see that as a result. What do you take home from that?
Just it's encouragement, and to hear, I just met some people on the plane that were there, that were part of it, and they were so thankful. They knew people that gave their life to Christ. They saw young people give their life to Christ, and some of these people are like they run the Chamber of Commerce and stuff like that, and they're excited to see the community, especially in Kalgoorlie, Boulder, which has had such a bad reputation for being a place where shenanigans, I don't know if that's a word that translates over
Sin
here.
City.
Yeah, Sin City. It's and the locals really want to change that. They don't like that image. They want to see it change. They want it more wholesome. They want it spiritual, and especially among the Christian people. And you even hear it from the mayor. The mayor says, I want to see my city change. And he wasn't necessarily talking about spiritual things. I think that was part of it, but he was wanting to see, the sin stuff go away. and to change that image of this city. So there's been a huge commitment by the locals there, and it's just great to be a part of it, in a small way. I think actually this is going to be a big way, because this is what's going to be lasting fruit. And but hopefully I can come back in a year, check up on them, make sure that they're still working on this stuff, and make sure all these churches are following up with everyone that made a decision. We just don't say, here, accept Christ, bye-bye, we're gone, we'll never see you again. We want to come back and make sure, so the churches right now are following up with every person that made a decision. Those 550 people, they're being followed up with starting today.
Yeah. Well, thank you for making the effort, Will, coming down here and being faithful and declaring the gospel very clearly. One thing that impresses me greatly about yourself and everyone at the Billy Graham Association is just your dedication to put it out there really plainly, but in a gracious way. You've done that exceptionally well, so God bless you.
Well, thank you, Phil, and go West Coast Eagles.